I think if we look back to, what I was working on 4 or 5 years ago, we're thinking about reactive to proactive. Cost to service is always a bit of a challenge in the service and customer experience environment. So now we're looking at revenue drivers and opportunities. Lag time feedback as opposed to real-time feedback, which has been a game changer for us to actually understand customer sentiment in real time, means that our decision making and speed to decision making is vastly different to what we were doing 2 or 3 years ago. Process mapping is now journey mapping, and I think that's a huge opportunity specifically because customers don't interact with each individual area, they interact with the company in a linear fashion. And so customer experience journey mapping end to end is absolutely a big change in how we look at our customer experience for C. Manual process to automation, ticket acknowledgement to ticket routing and deflection, knowledge management being pushed to customers and being really useful in terms of the customer saving time and effort. And the big one for me is actually customer effort score. I really believe that understanding how much time and effort our customers need to spend with our teams or our brand interacting for transactions is not something they want to do. And so therefore, how can we get better at understanding the customer effort and reducing that score? I think there's a number of different challenges in understanding customer. I've always had a headline that extraordinary service is about understanding the non-implied need of the customer. And I used to think that was good enough, but now it kind of isn't. I think we used to react to an implied need. Now we need to understand the non-implied need. And then we need to understand what data and relevance can do to support that outcome. And that's really hard. And that's because there are so many inputs of where data can come from. You then need to sort it out from a relevancy perspective. And then you need to prioritise with the rest of the organisation what it is that's going to shift the dial as opposed to create a better moment. And I think shifting the dial on customer experience comes from deep understanding of really looking at the holistic customer experience, not just their interaction with your brand, but how else they interact with other organisations and their expectations of service and delivery across every frontline team is demanding and requires thought leadership beyond systems, technology, and almost human behaviour is actually what keeps me up at night about thinking about customers. That's a great question and really hard to answer because I think that it evolves so quickly now. It's a bit like mobile phones. The speed of new technology coming out, back in the 80s was 3 months and now it's probably 3 hours. I think CX is exactly the same. We are seeing new ways of interacting with customers. I think that immersive AI is a really important part of how we should think about interacting with customers in the future. The trends that I'm hearing and seeing about are really not about what the technology is, it's about the design of the customer experience that relies on them sharing with us what it is that they need from us, and sometimes they don't know, but it's also the ability to understand how to plan and map when to interact with that customer. So giving them choices about channels, giving them choices about how often they want to interact with you, and the future of customer service is only as good as the products and the brands that we have in market. And we know that customers are fragile and they will switch off at any moment based on a belief about the organisation. And so loyalty, retention, trust, and building the foundation of retaining customers and working with them to partner with them on how they experiment with you. And I think the future of customer experience is about putting some test and learn models into the environment so that we are upfront with customers that we want to learn with them. And by sharing and learning together, we're actually stronger with the outcomes that they expect and also with the healthiness of our business. I don't think data is important to my role. I think what's important is relevant data. And my favourite saying is to do it with data always. And I think the most important thing about that is that data is old minute by minute. And so it's so important that the relevancy, the accuracy and the ability to collate data, not just in fact form, but from all elements. So the voice of the customer through frontline teams, the analytics tools that we use such as Call Journey, our CRM data, our social media platforms. It is all input, which is data that helps us understand behaviour. So I think all data is important and all data is relevant, and what we need to do is learn how to analyse that data and make it meaningful. How important is data? It's only as good as what you do with it and how you analyse it. And the other component is how you keep it updated and refreshed. There is no point in us trying to help people find jobs if it's a job that they were skilled for 5 years ago. We have to make sure that we have relevancy in terms of our candidates and in terms of our hirers, in terms of matching to that candidate. I'm immersed in data 24/7. That's because I'm a big believer in understanding from a helicopter perspective what customers are doing in market. So it doesn't always have to be in the tech market. I just think it's fascinating to actually observe and understand other products and how we're designing for future state. So at Seek, my role is to make sure that we use that data to improve our customer experience. And the way that we do that is that we ensure that we have a combination of data sets, and a lot of that comes from arming our frontline teams with asking a deeper question. So for example, a password reset might sound like a transactional activity. In actual fact, understanding why that customer wants to interact with us is the deeper question. That gives us really valuable data to use to help inform about how we could prevent them from actually having to password reset, but also actually have a stronger value add discussion with them when they choose. And I think for me, I'd be lying if I said that my job is starved of data. We've got so much of it. It's just choosing what's relevant and aligned with our strategic intention, as well as ensuring that we have a way of keeping data up to date and refreshed. And that is absolutely fundamentally a role of my frontline teams. And we make no apology for the fact that that is part of what we do every day to make sure that our relevancy of data actually makes a difference to our customers and our experience. My belief is that all of the dysfunction of every organisation surfaces in the frontline teams. So it is absolutely my role to understand that dysfunction and share it back with the organisation. And the only way to ensure that that is relevant and prioritised is with statistics such as volume, impact, root cause, and looking beyond what the systems tell us, but understanding the customer experience, the stories that go with that, the experience of the customer, by sometimes just picking up the phone and getting to talk about the good, the bad and the ugly. And I think you have to be really brave in customer experience now. You have to be brave enough to put everything on the table in front of the whole organisation in order for everybody to take a role in understanding what happens in our frontline teams and with our customers in every interaction, whether it be sales, marketing or product. One of the most important experiments I actually ever did was not at Seek, it was at an organisation that was really needing to get closer to their customers. And one of the initiatives was to actually have the executive team adopt a customer for 1 year. And what that meant was that they were given a customer service person and they had to visit that customer 2 times in that year. And I got to choose the customers, so I loved that. So that actually enabled our executive team to get much closer to what was happening day to day and make some strategic decisions about how we improve the voice of customer in every channel. I wish I could answer it in a way that made sense. I don't think we truly know. I think that there are so many organisations scrambling to understand what AI means for them, and particularly in its future state. I think that if you took away the role of AI, you're still left with understanding the customer need, the customer want, and their journey, and the emotion and the feeling that goes with every interaction. And so AI can partner with the human connection, but it can't do the work of making decisions. It can't create context. So I think it's partnership, but it's certainly not a sole solution to removing transactional work, because that transactional work for a customer may not be described as transactional for them. So what I'm looking for AI to do in the future is to help us with the external view of your organisation rather than the internal view, which tends to be how we focus on getting lots of input from our teams. But I think the role of AI in the future is to give us the external lens of the lived experience of the customer so that we can actually take a helicopter view of that customer experience. And a 360 view of customer experience just enriches your ability to service them. And when you know how to service customers, they will never think twice about using your product. So here's a bit of a cliche from me. I think that experience, the greatest advantage of experience is that it affords you time. And so Call Journey for me has been the experience of taking away the manual effort, the subjectivity of understanding a customer experience and the assessment of that. And really what it's done is fast track our ability to understand how we make decisions. It's enabled us to be accurate with our assessment as to what actually took place rather than half of the story. It provides us with trends and it provides us with the variables of each customer interaction on every interaction. So previously I would only look at snapshot information from what happens on every call. We can actually now do that on every single channel. And have the same rigour and consistency applied with how we're assessing our customer sentiment. The other thing that's often unspoken about is that I absolutely believe in the service industry team members. I love customer service team members because their sole purpose is to help people succeed. So what this has enabled my teams to feel is that pride in working in service, showcasing their experience. Having scores of 89 and 90 on customer sentiment is absolutely industry leading. And I think it's a way of ensuring that our employee experiences matches our customer experiences. So we keep that balance really in check. And previously that wasn't often the case. When you had a representative that might have spent an hour helping a customer, that was often missed in our ability to record that. We now record every transaction, and that customer lens and internal employee confidence has lifted significantly. I think the other elements of what Call Journey's brought to seek is the ability to ensure that we have an end-to-end voice of customer. Previously we tended to just have what would happen in one channel, and now we can apply that analytics across every channel and ensure that we have consistency. And what's really important about consistency is that I believe we should have a channel agnostic approach. There's no point in having 20-minute wait times in one channel and a 3-day turnaround time in another. All you do is drive your traffic to those channels. And the voice of customer and Call Journey has leveled the playing field and ensure that we have consistency across each of those channels. The cost to serve model, and particularly with executive levels, understanding the return on investment in terms of why do we have so many people answering so many phone calls? Why do we have so many Salesforce tickets that need to be answered and who by? Those elements of really understanding what it costs to actually serve our customers, leading to a stronger segmentation decision, is really been valuable as an executive to really understand how we actually treat customers and develop life cycle planning tools as opposed to a one-size-fits-all. And Call Journey has absolutely helped me deliver that. My eyes have been opened widely to the area of understanding the one-on-one relationship. So the interaction that we thought might have been to bring us to change an address, for example. Until we put Call Journey across that experience, we recognised that in actual fact, the customer need was 2 or 3 types of interactions. The way that we recorded that previously was one-on-one, and it wasn't telling us the real story about how long it took to answer every inquiry as opposed to one inquiry. So what surprised me was the fact that our business was telling us that we were spending X amount of time on one thing, but in actual fact, Call Journey helped us understand the customer experience end to end and the cost of that. And that helped us make better decisions about where else we could put some AI, so some chatbot support and some live chat support to ensure that we are not just treating all interactions in the one channel. They inspire me, but they also give me great trust that the data that we have is actually going to be used for good. And I think for me, what inspires me about thinking about customer effort score is that we often don't know the customer effort. I've never seen a model that helps me understand the time and effort from a customer perspective. And if we can really get focused on that and redesign our work practices and actually think differently about how to support that customer, that is a game changer, particularly in the areas of the SME space where time is money, and often SMEs are time poor and highly transactional. I think it's really important that we use the customer effort scores to really redesign out our segment-based lifecycle management plan. The executive summary is always inspiring because the amount of time and effort I put into thinking about what information might be relevant, all of those really fun activities are actually taken away by how simple the model is to actually apply. So I've seen the executive summaries, and I've also seen the automation that is used in this technology to help get to the root cause. And the root cause analysis is vastly different to what I thought it was, and I love the fact that Call Journey challenges us in terms of our beliefs about what we know about our customers and provides us with the external lens. And I think that is what I'm excited about, that we get the customer lens from their perspective in their lived experience, as opposed to my internal systems that are often telling half the story. So for me, AI and CX go hand in hand, and the people doing the roles currently will see opportunities to solve even more complex problems in the organisation rather than transactional problems. And I really think there's an opportunity to lift the essential skills and provide organisations with talent that actually understands every component of the customer in order to take the voice of the customer forward and to be in roles that actually make a difference every day. So for me, AI should not replace the roles of our teams. In fact, what I know about our service teams is that they want to help and they want to do value-added work. And so what this actually does is create a stronger platform for problem solving, not just within customer service, but for the organisation. Customer service people are good at multi-skilling and really good at solving problems. And I want to elevate their skill set so that the organisation can see them as a talent pool and also understand that they bring frameworks and opportunities of learning about customers to the rest of the organisation that really help us build upon being customer-centric at all times. Partnering with a trusted advisor is really important to Seek from a data privacy perspective and from compliance and governance. But more importantly, I feel that I can come to anyone at Call Journey and talk about a problem I'm trying to solve, even if it isn't necessarily what the tool can support me in delivering. I've always felt that we've had an open, trusted, transparent relationship. And I've never once felt that I've been sold to. I've always felt that I've been incorporated into sharing knowledge so that both organisations can succeed. Seek's purpose is to help organisations succeed and to help businesses grow. And I feel that I'm in a partnership with Call Journey, and I know that every time I've reached out when we've had challenges of understanding what it is that we need, I've always felt that you've been really clear at helping us solve problems where you can and where you can't. And I think as an industry leader, you're also very networked into other customers. I think that the alignment of Seek's culture and Call Journey's culture is very much in sync. I do believe that relationships and trust and being really purposeful about helping organisations succeed is why Call Journey for me has really changed my role in terms of efficiency, productivity, but also my trust and confidence in the industry. So obviously, in order to prove business benefits, you need to have really strong data that helps us understand things like time and motion outcomes for channel strategy decisions, right through to the cost of service decisions. I have to say that right now, Call Journey is actually one of my main tools that provides me with the ability to understand my channels and the cost, and that speeds up the decision making about future investments or strategic changes in where we want to shift our customers. I think for us, what it's been able to achieve is removing the subjectivity of the customer's experience person who's really, really adamant about customers. It removes the emotion and uses data to demonstrate influencing outcomes of investment of technology and also future-proofing our ability to respond in a market that's really agile. And so I see the data that I get from Call Journey enabling me to think about a 3 to 5 year plan instead of an in-year plan, which is a significant shift in how you think about customer experience in large organisations, because often technology has to pay off in year. So Call Journey has enabled me to think more strategically and provide data to finance and to marketing and to product about how we can actually invest differently in self-service channels, or actually rewrite the way in which we want customers to interact and choose us.